Timeless Wisdom. 80 profound quotes from Leo Tolstoy on his 188th birthday. Everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself. We can know only that we know nothing, and that is the highest degree of human wisdom. If you look for perfection, you'll never be content. Wrong does not cease to be wrong because the majority share in it. Freethinkers are those who are willing to use their minds without prejudice and without fearing to understand things that clash with their own customs, privileges, or beliefs. Kindness is not in words, but in the soul. The only way to be truly happy is to make others happy. Stop a moment. Cease your work. Look around you. There is no greatness where there is no simplicity, goodness, and truth. All the variety, all the charm, all the beauty of life is made up of light and shadow. Love begins when a person feels that another person's needs are as important as his own. Without love, there is no life. To love and to be loved, that is the only reality in the world. All else is folly. All happy families resemble one another, but each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. Love has no meaning unless it is expressed through action. Love is the most powerful weapon, but it only has value when given freely. A true lover sees your soul, not just your appearance. Marriage is not a haven of happiness, but a school of love. Love is not about possession. It's about freedom. When you truly love someone, you understand the real meaning of sacrifice. The two most powerful warriors are patience and time. The main goal of war is not to win, but to destroy the enemy. Peace can only be achieved when people learn to love more than they seek to dominate. War is not the most terrible thing. The cruelty of man is far worse. The strongest person is the one who never needs violence. Violence never brings lasting peace. Only love can eliminate hatred. Every person has a war within their soul, between good and evil. Nothing is more valuable than inner peace. If you want peace, start by living in peace with yourself. Happiness does not depend on outward things, but on the way we see them. Happiness is an allegory, unhappiness a story. True joy comes from living in accordance with your values. We often regret what we didn't do more than what we did. Sadness is an inevitable part of life, but it also helps us grow. Happiness is not a goal, but a way of living every day. You cannot please everyone, but you can live true to yourself. Success is not about having more money, but having a peaceful soul. When you are grateful for what you have, you realize you already have enough. A smile is the universal language of mankind. There is nothing stronger than an idea whose time has come. Life is not about waiting for the storm to pass, but about learning to dance in the rain. What we do in life echoes in eternity. Only those who dare to fail greatly can ever achieve true success. Do what is right, even when no one is watching. Every day is an opportunity to be better than yesterday. We do not live merely to exist, but to make a difference. True freedom is when you are not bound by what others think of you. There is no greatness without humility. Kindness is the greatest strength of humanity. Truth does not depend on the number of people who believe in it. Honesty is the most valuable trait a person can have. Do not do unto others what you would not want done to you. There are no shortcuts to honesty. Truth can be hidden, but it can never be destroyed. Honor is not in what you say, but in what you do. The greatest people are those with the kindest hearts. Live a life where you have nothing to hide. Do not be afraid to speak the truth, even if it is unpopular. A person of integrity lives without regrets. Art is not meant to entertain, but to move the human soul. Every great book is a bridge between the past and the present. Writing is a way to understand oneself. Great literature does not just tell a story, it transforms people. A truly great book changes you after you read it. Only those who have the courage to cry can truly learn how to love. The greatest people are not those with power, but those who know how to love. No one is stronger than the person who has mastered themselves. True wisdom is not having all the answers, but knowing how to ask the right questions. A truly rich person is not the one who has the most, but the one who feels they have enough. On love and compassion. You cannot truly love another until you learn to love yourself. Compassion is the language the blind can see and the deaf can hear. The strongest person in the world is the one who loves unconditionally. There is nothing nobler than an open heart. Compassion is the only thing that can truly change the world. Literature is the mirror that reflects the soul of humanity. In the final days of his life, Leo Tolstoy, the great Russian writer and philosopher, made a decision that stunned those around him. At the age of 82, after years of struggling with the contradictions between his aristocratic lifestyle and his deep belief in simplicity, he left his home in the dead of night, seeking solitude and a life closer to the ideals he had preached. Tolstoy had long felt trapped by his wealth and social status. Though he had written extensively about the moral dangers of materialism and privilege, he still lived in Yasnaya Polyana, his grand estate, surrounded by the comforts of nobility. But his heart longed for something different, a life of humility, self-denial, and closeness to the common people. His writings, especially in his later years, emphasized spiritual awakening, pacifism, and rejection of worldly possessions. However, his wife, Sophia, who had managed his estate and finances for decades, opposed his radical ideas. Their arguments grew bitter, and Tolstoy felt increasingly suffocated. One cold night in November 1910, Tolstoy quietly left Yasnaya Polyana with his trusted doctor and a small group of followers. He had no grand plan. He only knew that he wanted to escape the life of privilege that weighed on his soul. Traveling by train, he sought refuge in a small monastery, but even there, his fame followed him. Weakened by age and illness, he continued his journey, but fell ill along the way. At a remote railway station in Ostapovo, Tolstoy collapsed, suffering from pneumonia. The humble station master gave him a simple room, and the world soon learned of his condition. Reporters, admirers, and even his estranged wife rushed to the scene. But Tolstoy, in his final moments, remained true to his beliefs, rejecting the presence of the Orthodox Church and choosing to face death in silence. On November 20th, 1910, Leo Tolstoy passed away, far from the comforts of his estate, but at peace with the simplicity he had always longed for. His funeral was held without clergy, in accordance with his wishes. Thousands of peasants and admirers came to pay their respects. He was buried in the woods near his childhood home, in an unmarked grave, as he had requested, one final act of defiance against the world he had rejected. Tolstoy's last journey was not just a physical escape, but a powerful statement of his lifelong struggle. A man born into wealth who spent his life questioning it, and who, in his final moments, chose simplicity over grandeur. History's lessons call. Subscribe to classic quotes that inspire, and let timeless quotes guide your next step.